Hey guys, my name is Scott, and today we're going to be continuing our data structure series, and we're going to be taking a look at doubly linked lists. Now, if you have not looked at the previous two videos, I really encourage you to look at those because this video assumes that you have some pre-knowledge of what singly linked lists are, and if you do not have any pre-knowledge of what singly linked lists are, please go watch the other two videos or find a source that you're really comfortable with so that way you can learn that and then come back to the video. But with that in mind, let's get started. Okay, so what a doubly linked list is that it follows about the same principles as a singly linked list in that every node has a pointer to the following node. But it has this little extra thing to it where it also has another pointer that points back. Each node has another pointer which points back to a previous node. And so what we're going to be doing today is that we're going to be constructing a add method that actually allows us to dynamically add to the end of the list. The same thing that we did with singly linked lists. So with that in mind, let's get started. All right, we're declaring a function called doubly link. All right. And this is our pseudo class. This dot head equals no. All right, and then we're going to define the method. We're going to say doubly linked prototype dot add equals function, and then we're going to pass in a value as an argument, and then this is the argument that's going to be added to our node's value property. All right, then we're going to have another property called next, which is going to be no, and then another property called previous, which is going to be no. All right, awesome. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to say, hey, if this dot head is null or false, this dot head dot null, this dot head, then we're going to be assigning this dot head node. Then we're just going to return node. And the only reason why we're returning node in this instance is for confirmation that something has actually been added to our list. All right. Now, after this, we're going to declare a variable called current, and it's going to equal this dot head. Now, I've said this in the previous two videos, and there's a chance that if you're looking at this, you already know objects in JavaScript are passed by reference. They are not passed by value. So you passing an object into a variable is actually simply just passing a reference to the object into the variable. So let's say you decide to pass that variable into another variable for some reason. If you edit that next variable, it's still going to edit the original object. The reason why is because you're passing in the reference to the object. This is what we call mutability. So arrays and objects are mutable. Now, with this in mind, let's continue. Now, we're going to say function. Not function, I'm sorry. We're going to declare a while loop. And what we're going to say is while current.next. Now, we want to know if current.next actually has a value. Then we're just going to say current equals current.next. Now, since current equals current.next, when we get to this position, that means that the last node within the list we have at this moment. All right. So with that, we're going to say node.previous equals current, and then current.next equals node. Then we're going to return node. Now, us saying node.previous equals current is assigning us to the current. It's assigning to node's previous property the current node that we're on, and then current.next is actually being assigned this whole node that we declared at the top of our function body. Awesome. Then we're just going to return that node. All right. So let's run this. Okay. All right. So we're going to clear it out. We're going to say variable, not car, variable test equals new doubly, oh, not new single linked, I'm sorry. Doubly linked. All right. And then we're going to say test.add 1, which that should come out value 1, next equals null, previous equals null. Then we're going to do test.add, except its previous property is then going to have a value this time, and it does. All right, so we're going to do test.add 3, and then we're going to do test.add, and we're going to do last. Awesome. So now that we call test to see what is the state of our tree at the moment. So we have a double. I'm not the state of our tree, the state of our list. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of binary trees. So we have our head. And our head is going to have a next property, and it's going to have a value of the next object. It's going to point to the next object. And then that object is going to point back, that next object, that next node is going to point back to head, which it does with the value of 1. And then it's going to point to the next object, which is going to be a 3. And then this object right here, this node is going to point back to this current node. So you'll see a value of 2. Awesome. And then it's going to have a next of last, and then this next property is going to be null, and it's going to point back just like that. All right, so you've seen how to construct a doubly linked list. Now let's go back. Okay, now let's just think about what's happening on the first iteration of our while loop. We're just assigning current.next, so we're just getting to the end of the linked list. And then once we get to the end of the linked list, we're going to be assigning the node.previous property, the current node, and then that current.next, we're going to be assigning node. And so current.next is going to have a previous property, which points back to the current node that we're on. And then this next property is going to be null. And then you just do that all over again, each and every single time the method is called. All right. Well, this has been a doubly linked list, and you've seen how to construct them, and you found out exactly what they are. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put a link to my GitHub, which is going to have all the code from singly linked, doubly linked, all of this data structure series code is going to actually be within my GitHub. And you're going to be able to get it all for yourself, to play with it, to learn how to manipulate it how you want to for practice. All right. Awesome. Well, this has been good. I hope you guys have a great day.